obviously we've all triggered people in different ways, and I think when we don't give people a perspective in a certain way. So for instance, I'll give my example with the whole going to black raves and believing that only trouble happens in these raves more than I go into white raves. But when I had reflection on that, I was like, actually I've mainly been to black raves, so of course I'm gonna see more fights in that way. Do you know what I mean? And then when you guys were speaking before about, you know, if you was to go into a pub or like a footballer's pub, you'll see fights all the time as well. So it just depends on your environment. And I responded to that based on experience, like going back to a 16-year-old, and I didn't give no context actually, you know, like framing something. So sometimes, and this happens all the time, the conversation we was just having before is also about context. Everything's about context. So for me, we have to own our shit. Like with that, I want to own, and I think that I need to take responsibility, that I don't want people to feel like, oh, he hates black people or anything like that. Well, of course I'm half black. Well, that would mean I'd hate half of myself. But it's about what context how do we do it in a way which is also sensitive to the people viewing, so they don't then jump on a bandwagon of hating and completely misunderstanding what you're saying. And this is what happens in society. Like, people take things out of context, or they don't frame things right. So for me, I think it's important for us to take full and me, like with me, I can only take responsibility for myself. So like, it's about me taking full accountability for what I'm saying and how it's coming across, and actually working on actually building better context so that people get the full picture, rather than, because you know, a lot of people they're not listening to hear you out, they're listening to respond and then place a judgment. When what we're trying to do is
you know who you are.
Spark things in people. Do you know what I mean? Spark things in people so that they can start asking different questions to themselves. But if they're stuck on a particular type of topic that we keep triggering them, sometimes they won't be able to move past that. So like, I just want to say now,
for your information, I am the trigger man. No, not purposely.
He just is, guys. He just is.
I just am. That's just a role that I've stepped into, based on character. But the reality is that I never say anything with the intent of hurting. That's not in my nature. I'm just not on that. I'm not perfect. Don't want to be, and I don't know it all. So I may say some things that are wrong, but I'm willing to be corrected. You know, I'm very open-minded. Things that are said are necessary. This thing here is all about perspective. That's it. We're not here to prove each other wrong. Don't get me wrong, if we don't agree with something that someone says, we can just be like yo, I don't agree. But we're not necessarily trying to force the correction. We'll speak on it, let it marinate. If it changes how you think, then it does. But if it don't, it don't. But yeah, man, it's just perspective. That's all it is.
This lovely man here, what do we call you?
Spoon.
The spoon.
The spoon.
The stirrer.
The stirrer.
The instigator.
I don't know what they're talking about, in all honesty.
This guy.
I just like to hear people speak and pick their brains and understand why they think and feel the way they do. That's it, really. That's how I do. What about you?
Drop some in like some salt in a pot, bruv. You're like sprinkle.
So we apologise for anybody that feels how they feel based on things that we say. But you have to take a look at yourself and ask yourself why you feel how you feel. You have to have that conversation with yourself, because that does bring growth. And we're willing to grow. As I said, we're not perfect. Well, I'm not perfect. I'm assuming that these guys are not perfect either.
Definitely not.
So, yeah, man. Enjoy the rest.
See, look, he just left me out. No respect.
No, go on, see.
No respect. No respect. No. I don't have a title, innit? I'm just the girl. I'm like that.
You're a
The
queen.
token, innit? See, he's blessed me. No, I'm the token female in the group. I'm the one that has to
Bare
flip the
females now
male.
saying, can I apply?
Innit? Flip the male script sometimes and put in a little female perspective. I wouldn't say normally I'm the mother of a group, innit? But I can't say that I feel that way per se with this group, because I think we're all kind of on a similar level of thinking, despite how differently we might think. But yeah, I'm just here to shake it up a little bit and give a slightly different perspective based on the female way of thinking, which sometimes which is a little off sometimes from your average female, but it is what it is, isn't it? But guys, this is Dissecting Minds, and that's all we're here to do: dissect, put our minds, our thoughts, our opinions out there. If you guys agree, then cool. If you don't, you're always welcome to put in your views.
Yes.
We out.